All right, we are live. How are we doing? First, before we get going completely, how are we doing, my brother Franco?
Doing well, man. Just shared out the link to this episode. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
About to talk about Mr. Biden.
Oh, well, I saw this clip a little bit earlier today, and I was like, you know what? I want to show that clip. I know we all hate the mainstream media, so I'm going to put that disclaimer out there first and foremost. But I got to give it to Michael Smerconish. He kind of nails everything about Biden's bad week. That could be a little tongue twister.
Hmm.
Um, but I was like, yeah, I definitely want to get into that. Oh yeah, you had a couple of recent I guess what interviews and collaborations. I've seen you over on the Convo Couch. I've seen you over at RBN. I've seen you a little bit of everywhere. Oh, backwards a little crooked, but I've seen you a little bit of everywhere. How has it been being this busy this week?
I don't know what it was because I was gonna take a break, a little bit of a break around the holidays. All of a sudden, when I came back after the Vosh debate, I got invited to a lot of places. The combo couch thing was like a last minute call in. It was like, hey, Fiorella can't make it to the show. You want to co-host? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. I had a lot of fun talking to Brother Pasta.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got invited to JB Font's show.
Yes,
Uh,
that's right. I was in there watching with
yeah,
JB.
the we talked about the cookouts and everything. I saw you in the chat there.
I told him, I said, man, at first I was like, what do you want? Do you want me to bring the ribs? You want me to bring in some Baricua food? Let me know. And I see now we have the whole team here assembled. You know how I like to do it on here because I know you watch us. I like to pass it around to all my co-hosts, see how they've been doing this week. Hopefully everything's all fine. And so I guess we'll start with Mr. Lawson. How are we doing, Chris?
Right on time, kid. I just got back. What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Everybody in the audience and all that good shit. What's up? Um, Marcus, you already know. I think we spoke like what, maybe twice this week, maybe three times. Like, just work. I
Yeah.
work a whole lot, and you know, I just went bowling earlier. I just
Oh,
beat up on
nice.
these little kids.
Any strikes?
Oh hell yeah! I finished the game real strong, kid. I finished on like 2 or 3 strikes in a row.
That was How did Jalen do?
Oh no, Jay wasn't there. He ain't ready
Oh,
for
okay.
it. I had the, I had,
He ain't ready for it.
nah, he ain't ready. I had the little one Marcus with me. Yeah, he ain't ready yet either.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear him in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was mad.
That's funny.
But Daddy, why you gotta do me like that?
Exactly.
Um, Chris, I mean, well, L, I see you got an interesting new cover photo. Can you explain to us what this cover photo
Why
is
is it
and what we're
Daria?
doing tonight? Yeah,
Yeah, come on, Daria.
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
why is it Daria,
What's
L?
the deal with Daria tonight?
I've always related to Daria. She's a writer like I was as a child when I watched the show. And she's smart, probably too smart for her own good. And so I relate. And it's just been one of those weeks, a Daria week.
Daria week. Alrighty, and E, how are we doing, E?
First of all, I want to say, what's up to Franco? I didn't know you were going to be on. He didn't. Marcus didn't tell me.
Yeah, I was on
I
with
would.
E earlier this week. That was Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
And
for those,
go ahead.
first and foremost, sorry to interrupt you, but for those who haven't saw that, make sure you go and check that out. My boy E, I was very proud of him. Very impressed with him on there. And gave a little love back to me, which I trust me, I didn't send him out there to do that, but he gave a little love to the show and shouted us out and everything, and just did an impressive job on there. So back to you, E.
Yeah, I just want to say I was appreciative, and I learned a lot, and everybody was really cool, and I'm just really um I'm really grateful I was able to do it. I was a little reluctant, but uh Franco passed it around the room, and I got to hear a lot of interesting perspectives, and I feel like I learned a lot. So thank you,
Yeah,
Franco. I really
you're on
appreciate
with Robert Durden, political
it.
fight club, and crap, I'm blanking on my boy's name. He's gonna beat me up too.
Man, his
Charles,
right, but his
Charles,
accent
yes,
sticks
the
with you
lone
forever,
wolf.
the
man.
Lone
Yeah,
Wolf
Right, it
podcast.
just sticks with
I
you
love that
forever, man.
accent.
I
Right.
want to get him on here one of these days too, or go on his channel. I mean, I would really like to collab with him because he always has such interesting like perspectives because he threads that kind of left libertarian kind of line, and he's able to speak to a lot of people out in the rural communities, which we don't often get to talk to. But let's go on ahead and get the show kick started. Let me pull this up, play the little show jingle, and let's see, share, and boom. Hold on a sec. Let's get it started. So I'm still learning all this stuff, but bear with me, people.
I'm here because you have a question that you need an answer to. Thanks for joining me.
Modern Freemasonry as we see it. These negative shit to say about Trump, and then you get caught. What happened for the next couple of centuries?
Yeah, no, I mean,
like the cool gay man, people also want to see it.
Oh man.
Oh, is this the first time you've seen it, Franco?
No, I've seen it a couple
Yeah.
times. It's my first time seeing it with you guys.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and shout out to you guys again for talking to Jimmy and calling him out for not talking enough about COVID. What was that? During June, May? You got your mic muted.
Marcus, you're muted. Can you unmute?
Yeah, I forgot the autoplay is on, so I just start playing another video right after. I'm like, no, stop. But go ahead, Franco.
Oh yeah, I was just giving you and Al a shout out for calling out Jimmy for not talking about COVID enough in early May, June.
In fact, if you look at that video, that's L literally talking to Jimmy right there about it there in July. And he always likes to put out, oh, I'm the only one who's ever talks about this. I'm the only one. And it's like,
and he's still doing that.
That's the part that irks my nerves so much. It's like, you can say that you're the only big time or one of the few big time channels which are talking about it, but a lot of channels like yours, ours, I mean, run the gambit across the board. There are plenty of channels that are talking about it now, and it's just so disingenuous, and I try not to take it personal, but it's hard not to.
I mean, there's others I think should take it more personal, because if it truly is him talking about there's not a lot of big channels or big names talking about it other than him. What about Kim Iverson, who on the Hill, which has more subscribers than him? You know, she's been talking about it for a long time, and on her show also.
Well, and another thing, I know that he knows Steve from Slow News Day.
And I know
that he knows Whitney Webb. I know he knows Convo Couch, and they all are talking about it, but he doesn't give them any love. I want to make sure to throw some shout outs to those out in the crowd. I see some of our friends and some of our favorites. Variant, how are we doing out there? My brother Misha.
What's up, Variant?
How are we doing? Signs is in the building. SD was in here early. Got Lorenzo in the building. Being Cannabis. Who else am I missing? Kelly is here.
Kelly?
else? I don't want to miss anybody while I'm Oh, and of course, Shadow Band. Orale! Got Tina there also. Atres in the building also. One of these days, we got to have you on here, Atres. And for those who don't know,
What's up?
make sure to go and check out Atres's channel. Go and subscribe to him. And make sure to get over there, Franc Analysis. Go over there, subscribe to his channel. So glad for everybody who's jumped in. But tonight's show is Biden's bad week. And of course, we have MLK holiday on Monday. So we got to talk a little bit about MLK. And I like to make it as I like to talk MLK as far as his relevance to, how it would be today. What would MLK think about a lot of things going on? What would he think about Voting Rights Act? What would he think about how the Democratic Party is going? What would he think about some of the mandates? I mean, just in general. And of course, speaking of Biden's bad week, we are going to talk about the mandates being shot down in the Supreme Court. So, I mean, there is so much to talk about. I know Chris has a subject he wants to talk about. And Gabo Hernandez, welcome to the show. Hello, also. I know Chris got something he wants to talk about too. So, Chris, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with your story.
Oh, there we go. I was just waiting for my mute to turn off. Panel, what's up? L, what's up? E, Franco, everybody. No, I just wanted to cover the Supreme Court because what they ruled that the Biden administration's desires to have companies that have over 100 employees mandate the vaccination. Clearly, they ruled that the Supreme Court ruled against that. However, it doesn't apply to medical workers. But, each state will do whatever it is that they want to do as it pertains to that. I know here in Florida, DeSantis already said medical workers don't need to worry because that law won't be that mandate won't be enforced here in the state of Florida. So that's good for them. Across the country, I see Massachusetts and is it Maryland or DC? I seen they got some crazy shit going on there. I'm like,
Maryland
I
too.
can't.
Some parts of Maryland.
Yeah, all those places up in the Northeast that are governed by Democrats, they're like the worst places to be right now. And I'm just really happy I'm no longer there.
Kelly says it wasn't a bad week for Joe. It's all happening exactly as planned. Ouch.
Correct. And Kelly's 100% correct with that statement. It's going exactly as they wanted it to go.
Yeah. So tell us about what is going on, kind of in the in your area, Franco. I'm curious what's going on.
I think I'm frozen. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Oh, froze again. I guess until Franco hops in. E, what? There you are. You're back. How's it going in your area, Franco? There we go. We can hear you clicking.
Like we can hear, you can hear him. We can hear him.
I can hear him. Yeah. Well, now you're unfrozen.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It sounds so robotic.
Nope, I hear you fine on my end.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back.
Okay, we'll come back in. E, can you go ahead and let us know how it's going down in Atlanta? I know we got a couple of stories that we're gonna have to bring back your way, especially as this Biden stuff's been going on.
I think he had a speech here. One of them had a speech here. I don't even remember what it was about. I guess I've just been kind of worried about
I'll let you know what it's about. We'll get into Biden's
right.
Biden's speech.
I was more worried about the winter storm or whatever that's supposedly coming, like Sunday, Monday. It's affecting a lot around here. there's a lot of people particularly worried about what happened with the last big one. People were stuck in cars on the highway,
Oh man.
kids stuck in schools. I mean, it was bad. And, no one wants that to happen again. So we're seeing, I've seen at least one aisle of like essential goods, like it's gone, even today. So, it's happening. I'm hoping nothing happens, but it could be worse than I thought, and we could just end up being like another Texas, and all of us are freezing in our houses. So I do honestly worry about. I guess the one thing I was particularly worried about above that was MLK Day. I particularly not really that big of a fan. I think someone summed it up pretty avidly. You see all these capitalists glorifying this avowed socialist as probably the most blatant form of hypocrisy that you could possibly see. So that's me. That's where I'm at right now, man.
It's currently 90 degrees Fahrenheit where I'm at, and it's gonna be at a low of 15 degrees Fahrenheit at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't miss that weather. I don't miss it. That's one thing that I guess me, Chris, and L, we all have in common, right?
Yeah.
Oh, L is. Oh yeah, L is in LA also.
Yes, L is in Hollywood, right, L?
Yep.
But Franco, going ahead and I guess give us a little bit about how this vax mandate stuff is kind of going on in your area. I saw being basically put out that they're sharing their medical information. Here, do you see this here? My vax record in Massachusetts unveiled. It's effing gross.
Yeah, can I share my screen real quick?
Sure, going ahead.
Yeah, this is from my county. Can you see this?
There it is down there. Hold on.
Yeah, Montgomery County. So they're gonna start around February 15th. They're gonna start requiring people to show their vaccine records, but it says exclude all doses excluding boosters. But if there's people that got both their doses around February, March, April, June, even July, and if we take into consideration those studies from that, plenty of studies showing the waning effects of these vaccines, it doesn't even matter anymore if you've been fully vaxxed or not. Those effects have waned.
Yeah.
So this is so pointless. It's going to be effective February 15th. And then I saw in the comment section here, there are plenty of apolitical people on there that's like, I've been fully vaccinated and I think that this is horrible. Why do we have to do this? To go into a grocery store, to go into all these public service places? It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh man, it's unbelievable. You think people are going to start moving over to Florida soon?
Hey, I've been talking to Chris. I told him, I said, hey, you might see me coming out there. So, I mean, I'm just putting it out there. You might see me coming back that way. For those who don't know, who are new tuning in, I live in California now, but I did live in North Florida in Jacksonville. I noticed a comment here I wanted to bring up. Where did that go? I saw somebody said that their 6-year-old, they're forcing their 6-year-old to be vaxxed. I mean,
my God.
Yeah. Like, and my mom, she's a teacher in Kansas City. And I told her, I said, well, why don't they just have the older population, which is mostly the teachers, going ahead and teach from home, and then you can have the students go to school. I mean, if there's that much fear in this, I asked her, I said, honestly, with the Alpha variant, with Delta variant, with all these other variants, did they do all of this stuff that they're doing now for Omicron, which, by CDC and every medical professional's own admission is less dangerous?
Or what they could do, all these people that are making the argument of, oh, like if people had to go to school, for many decades, people had to show that they received their measles or MMR or polio vaccine and all that. Well, what about the people that had already had the measles? Like those children didn't have to show proof of vax because they already got the antibodies from that. So why? What about all these people that gained antibodies from getting sick with COVID, which is now what the majority of the population? Studies from Nature, plenty of other scientists are acknowledging that everybody's going to get this disease. It's absolutely pointless. Everyone's going to get antibodies for this.
Sounds like a
We
cat
can reach
grab.
natural immunity. We can reach herd immunity via natural immunity.
Well, also,
But
didn't
we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to talk about that.
didn't Andy Slavic already say that everybody's going to get it? So, I mean, you already have everybody who is either, you know, either they've had it, they're getting vaccinated, this and that. They're doing people who are, on their double vax and boosted, and they're still getting it. They're wearing their masks, they're wiping everything down, they're staying away from everybody. There are people who I've only encountered. They're like, I've only encountered one person, and that person is completely negative, but somehow I still got it. I wanted to shout this out with Glory in the building. Says you can mandate these nuts. So
Now, Franco, I had a particular question. When was that article posted? Was this
Which one?
The one about
The Montgomery County thing?
Yeah.
Let me go back and see. I saw that on Instagram this week.
Okay. I find it curious that it happened on the same week, the MSM, wanted to come after Joe Rogan because he's violating the narrative essentially. They're trying to censor him now, and apparently like 270 doctors don't want him to be banned off of Spotify. Apparently, they yanked him off of they yanked his video off of YouTube, and now they want to yank him off of Spotify as well. So
they want them all off of everywhere.
Yeah,
because there are many Joe Rogan fans or many people who do take his word over what our fascist government wants us to take the word of, like Fauci and everyone. That's their fault for always lying. That's their fault for having a history of corruption. There's an article right now from the New York Times, breaking news. For the first time, the CDC said cloth masks weren't as effective as other options. Wear the most protective mask you can, the agency urged. So this is who we're talking about here. They're always changing their mind. This is what the CDC says counts as a secondary source. They are not a primary source. They get their information from primary sources, and then they give you their subjective opinion on what you should do. That's why people should look at what the evidence says. What does the evidence say about cloth masks? What does it say about any mask at all?
That's critical thinking, Franco.
And
it's not allowed, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not allowed at all. I mean, if CDC, as much as they've changed their position, think about it. If they weren't who they are and they weren't tied to all the money, they would be. I mean, actually, I'm not going to say that, but let's just say that the CDC changes their story all the time. We, on the other hand, most of us have been following the information that we're getting and trying to be fair and differential and put out pros, cons, everything that we're finding, and let people be able to source the information. And then what we're having is outlets like YouTube who come in and say that we are spreading medical misinformation when we've been consistent, and the CDC day by day seems to start saying what most of us have been saying for well over a year and a half, some of us 2 years. I would like to lead into the vaccine, the Supreme Court mandate. So I would love for you to kind of give everybody the ins and outs on the Supreme Court and what's been going on with that.
Yeah, they allowed healthcare workers under the CMS rule to have to get vaccinated in order to do their jobs. and then they decided that wasn't good for 100 or more employees throughout the nation, that they didn't have to do that or test. But they're mandating vaccines for the healthcare workers. Like, I don't even think they get an option of testing. So it's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, going there. Yeah, I need to do that. That's a good idea, Franco. And I'm going ahead and put a little disclaimer out there. The views shared in this video regarding COVID vaccine variants, mandates, or lockdowns may conflict with health authorities. All opinions expressed represent those of the speaker and not of the academic institutions, government institutions, or any affiliates. All articles read and their opinions and analysis are solely our opinions and analysis, and may conflict with health authorities.
Yeah, so take that, you too.
No, good looking out, man.
We also want to say that
covered it.
none of us are healthcare professionals or trying to say we're healthcare professionals or giving medical advice, or all we're doing is giving opinions, individual opinions. It is still up to those individuals to get with their healthcare providers and or their family and make their own decisions. So we will leave it at that, as far as the opinion. So we want to put that out first and foremost. This is just opinions. We do not try to go any further than that. So Elle, could you continue with that? I want to know. Want me to put this on the screen? I gotta figure out how to do that. Chris, can you pull that up? What Elle has in the private chat. Put that on the screen for us. What was the vote count as far as who were the ones who voted for and against it?
Well, Sotomayor definitely voted for it, and Elena Kagan, and a couple other people. But the majority opinion was against it. Let me try and find that.
Okay, yeah. I guess while you try to find that, I'll read this real quick. Glory says, Marcus, what teleprompter are you reading from? For those who do not know, this is kind of a running joke that we've had. I got called the human, human typewriter or something like that. By somebody, we're not gonna mention his name, but
a little troll. Let's just
a little troll.
Yeah.
It actually surprised me.
You got the best fans, Marcus.
This is what we should do with haters out there. There probably are some haters out there that are watching this. Whatever that energy that they're emitting, their hatred, all these like nasty things that they say to each other when they talk shit about us, just take it all in, absorb that energy. That's life energy that they're giving us. All those haters, keep giving us life energy. It's only going to make us stronger.
Yes, in fact, it just lets us know that, you know what, you kind of probably wish you were doing better than what you're doing. I actually want to, kind of throw a little salt in somebody's face out there. We've been seeing, when we see Mr. Street in the building. Welcome, Mr. Street. We've been kind of having some back and forth on Twitter with some rivals. I'm not going to mention this guy's name because I don't want his channel to get any extra clout than it needs to. But he considers himself radical. But he's basically just a shitlib in disguise. And then my boy Misha has been going at it with like the cult of Bernie. So
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
He tried to come at me too. And I'm like, who is this guy? And then I was like, I told some of my colleagues, I was like, is this guy like Walker Bragman 2.0? And then they're like, nah, he's more like Walker Bragman 0.5 because he's half as relevant. So shout out to Nico for saying that. That was so funny.
Man, Nico honestly is just when you get into a back and forth with him on Twitter, you gotta be careful because Nico is a straight savage. He's just completely heartless. He finds a way. Like me, I'm gonna end up saying some stuff which is gonna be a little lowbrow and get myself in trouble and screw it up. But Nico finds the perfect way to thread that needle and insult you without you having a real good. It's kind of like a Floyd Mayweather, where he throws that punch at you, and when you try to go back, he rolls the shoulder, and you never get a clean shot on it. So, shout out to Nico out there. But going ahead, El, what we got on the screen?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say it was a 5-4 decision for the overturn and upholding of this fucking shit.
For the hospital workers, correct?
Yes, where they force them to get vaccinated to do their jobs instead of giving them a testing out.
What's up, Jack?
Shout out to Jack.
Shout out to Jack.
Love you, Jack.
Dongcopter.
Love it, house Jack.
Oh, you are on it with this research, this COVID research.
Yeah,
Thank
she
you.
has
There's
a
more
lot.
coming on the next episode of the podcast. Stay tuned. I got some shit to say that I can't say here.
Can't wait.
DTRA is all I'll say. DTRA.
Mad
If you know, you know.
Says Nico House is Kaiser Soze in the flesh. Wow. I love Kaiser Soze. Literally one of my favorite movies. But sorry for interrupting. Go ahead, El.
Oh, I was saying DTRA is all I'll say for the upcoming research. It's old research, but it became relevant this week with the, I don't know if we're allowed to mention it, but Veritas, the Project Veritas thing that happened.
Yeah, I mean,
There's more to that story, and you'll see.
Yeah, we'll go into that as more gets sorted out. I don't want to go into it just yet because I know sometimes Veritas sometimes they can come out with something good and then you get rolled up sometimes with some of this stuff. So let's just take a little bit more time.
Well, mine is
an
extension of that. It's an extension, an expansion of their little research or whatever, their leak, and goes a little deeper. So
you're going straight to where they got their.
No, I'm going somewhere else, but somewhere far more relevant to the
and more in depth.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll ask first. Would it be YouTube safe to cover it? Because if so, we can cover it next week.
I believe so. I don't see anyone talking about DTRA, which is why I want to mention it. The Defense Threat Reduction Agency, which had, to give you an overview, just to say, they funded EcoHealth Alliance in the millions.
Okay,
Not DARPA, but this agency.
Okay, yeah, we'll put a button in that, and we'll come back to it next week then, since it seems like it should be all right. It's not on YouTube's radar yet. They have a
keyword.
Yeah, so we might get that. We might be able to slip it out there and talk about it for one show before they come out with a new guideline and go against it. But I guess while we're still rolling on the whole COVID front, don't go on mute just yet. I know that you've been following the Djokovic situation. I have to loosely, so curious. What do you know as the latest on Novak Djokovic?
Well, they canceled his visa because of some nefarious form filing errors, and so
they got him on bureaucracy.
He will not go to the Australian Open now, so they kicked him out.
They you know what it is. They don't want him. They don't want him to win. His record-breaking Grand Slam. That's all. It's just hate.
It's completely political in nature. At the very beginning, at least. I can't say for right now, but at the very beginning, it was very politicized, and obviously so by the prime minister. Not prime minister. The help me, guys. I don't know the guy, the official, Scott Morrison. Is he the prime minister? I don't even remember.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty
I
sure
got
it's
I
MP.
got
MP. My bad.
MD.
MP.
Oh,
MP.
MP. Okay.
I got it be right. It is Prime Minister. Okay, Prime Minister is the same. Got it.
Yeah, it's the same.
Learned it.
So
Thank you, Jack.
So and I know my boy Chris follows tennis also. See, there go Glory starting some mess down there. Federer the GOAT. I'm not talking about Roger Federer right now.
Oh,
But Chris, what are some of your thoughts on this? Let's go ahead and pass this around the table. Actually, you know what? Well, since Franco's right next to L, we'll just pass this in a circle. Franco, some of your thoughts on it, or how much do you have followed the Djokovic situation?
so that's I'm not familiar. This is a tennis player.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because Gloria's mentioning Federer, and I
Mhm.
remember Djokovic is like his rival, one of the two best tennis players out there. So I guess what they're not letting him play, or what?
Well, I guess going ahead, L, fill Franco in on it. I'm pulling up a video real quick. I'll be right back, peoples. Or Chris, either one. Or I guess I can go ahead and do it. Real
I'm
quick.
here. I'm here.
Okay.
I was looking. He's back in the courtroom, according to this article, which I'll put in the chat from NBC Sports. Hold up.
Damn it! Yeah, I haven't heard those names
I mean,
in so long. I used to watch a lot of soccer and tennis.
Okay, at this
Like-
point, sorry, Frank. I was just gonna say, at this point, it's all theater. You know what I'm saying? Because if they didn't want him in the country, they should have told him beforehand, "You're not allowed." Even from his side of things, right? Oh, they have this. If you wanted to really send a message, you could have just said, "Hey, Australia, I want to come play in this tournament, but your country has these bullshit rules, so I'm not going to come, right? I'm going to boycott. Sorry, you're not going to get to see me perform, but it is what it is." But he went there knowing that there was a chance they were going to play with him. They let him in the country knowing that somebody else was going to have a problem with it, and it's theater.
What's his defense team saying?
I mean, what are his
Yeah, I have an
chances
article about
essentially?
Okay, is it this NBC Sports article?
Correct. That's
Okay,
the
one
latest.
second. I'll pull it up. So
That's literally from today.
they can simply make the argument. There's no evidence to show that it's unvaccinated people that are the source for these new variants. I haven't seen any evidence of that. Have you guys? Like, there's evidence of the newest variant, Omicron, being detected in vaccinated people first. It was detected in individuals in South Africa who were fully vaccinated, and I think
And
some of
some
the
boosted
individuals also
people,
had
too.
boosters. And in Australia, they have Omicron now. I thought nobody who's vaccinated could leave or enter the country. So what is that about?
Yes.
Unless they can provide evidence that it's the unvaccinated people that are driving the evolution of this, and that they're the ones that are patient zero for this disease that's killing less than 1% of the population, then it's absolutely BS what they're doing, and they're just taking orders from the private industry here. That's what I see.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing. They literally gave him. They literally told him that it was all right. He had an exemption, that he was allowed to come into the country to play with his exemption because he had previously had tested positive for COVID, and so they ruled that because outside of the United States, and I just want to put this disclaimer: some countries recognize natural immunity if you've previously been infected with COVID. So they were recognizing him for natural immunity. And so once he got in the country, they gave him that exemption. Then they changed it the moment he got into the country and decided to lock him down in their, I guess, their quarantine hotels. Then they decided, okay, never mind, we're going to revoke your visa, which that was kind of something interesting to me. I didn't realize that whenever you go into Australia, you actually had to get a visa to play because whenever we have like the U.S. Open here in the States, they don't have to do that. They don't have to get a visa just to be in town for like 2 weeks. I mean, so it's different. Oh, Glory, really? Man United? No. See, we're gonna get into our sports beefs.
So you guys see what I'm sharing right now?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me put it up on the screen. There we go.
Yeah, so here's the article, right? So yeah, Djokovic back in court to fight deportation from Australia. Djokovic returned to a court, right? Three federal court judges hope to hear the entire case in a single day, so that the men's #1 ranked tennis player and 9-time Australian Open champion might begin on Monday his title defense at the first Grand Slam tennis tournament of the year. Djokovic spent Saturday night in an immigration detention hotel. Wow.
Yes.
After he and his lawyers met with immigration officials earlier in the day. Immigration detention hotel.
Yes.
Remember when we were called conspiracy theorists for saying that this is going to become a thing? These detention centers, or what could be also be compared to concentration camps.
Speaking of that, I'm wondering if I should bring that up or not. I'm going to go ahead. Chris, I'm about to sing you something. Man. I was like, I don't know if anybody's really saw this. I haven't seen anybody talk about this yet. Washington, what is it? The Washington bill, WAC 246 100. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can find that bill, because I first heard the propaganda about it before even reading it, and it has some interesting stuff in there. Here, I'm sending it to you right now. I'll send it. I'm going to text it to you, Chris. But this was whack. This was pretty wild when I saw it. Actually, you know what? Since Franco, you're already on the share screen, I'll just go ahead and share it to you also. That way, because you know how to, I don't know how to zoom in like you're doing. So I need to figure that part out. Hold on. Let's see. There you are. Okay, there we go. I just sent it to you, Franco. Pull this up and then check this out. Jack said I had to tell them they got to know the truth. At least Convo Counts doesn't hide me or Marcus on their channel. I don't hide anybody on this channel. I will, if you get obnoxious, I will time you out. Yeah, I just texted to you. I will time you out. But I try not to. And Chris will tell me, hey, don't just let them go. Just let them, do their thing in the chat. So yeah, we don't hide people from our channel unless they've actually done something. You start throwing racial slurs and things like that. Yeah, that might get you tossed out of here. But some other channels, they throw you off for less.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to be. We're not soft like that. If you want to come in here talking shit, like have at it. You know what I mean? It actually makes for good content and it's funny. At least I find it funny.
And it's on record too. So
works. I think Chris just likes watching us get upset about it. That's the problem. He likes watching me get riled up because he knows I get riled up so easily. But this Washington bill, when I started reading some of the stuff in there, because first I saw it on a I guess a print version of MSNBC, and I don't know. Is that me playing? Is that me? Somebody got a train. But yeah, I read about it, and everything was talking about how, oh well, don't believe the propaganda that people are spreading on the internet. And I was like, wait, what are you guys talking about the internet? And then I watched on channels which I won't mention exactly. I learned a lot from. They were talking about it in detail and going into and breaking some biblical prophecy with it. So I just found this like really interesting, and so I went and looked it up. And the bill which I just sent Franco is literally. Oh, hold on a second. Let me put it on the screen.
Yeah, I shared it.
There we go. Okay. And so
Wow.
you start reading some of the stuff in there. And I'm like, and notice at the top, you guys see it, Washington State Legislature. This is a bill which is being talked about right now. So let me catch some of the interesting parts of it, which I found. Okay, the first part says at his or procedures. First part of it says procedures for isolation or quarantine. You guys see that? That's what the title of that is. It says, at his or her sole discretion, a local health officer may issue an emergency detention order causing a person or group or persons to be immediately detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine in accordance with the section 3 of the section. Subsection 3 of the section, or may petition the Superior Court ex parte for an order to take the person or a group of persons into involuntary detention for purposes of isolation or quarantine in accordance with the subsection 4 of this section, provided that he or she, and then it starts going into, in detail more and more, reasonings or justifications for throwing people in. Make sure I want to throw a shout out to Mona. We see one of our friends here. So how are we doing,
What's up,
Mona?
Shout out to Mona.
Where'd she go? There she is. Well, chat's moving a little faster than I'm used to. Got a lot of love in here, Franco. A lot of love. That's good.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, are you seeing what it's saying there, Franco?
Yeah, so
What the hell is number 2, man?
we're
What the? That's
we're
crazy.
moving towards what Australia's doing here in the US pretty much.
Yes.
What we need is more people speaking out against this. Nobody voted for this. Nobody wants this. Or that at least there's probably some sycophants out there that have been fear-mongered into thinking that this is what we should do, but it hasn't been put up for a vote for the majority of the population. But many people were coerced into taking the jab by their job. It was either that or they lose their job.
Yeah.
Or they were fear-mongered into doing it. So
remember, Franco, Vouch told you have a choice. That's a choice.
That's not a real choice. By definition, it's not.
You can just go be homeless. Just go be homeless.
And I should have pulled up like the definition of coercion, which this clearly falls into that definition. It's fear-mongering someone and making them believe that they have to do this or else they're gonna die, or that it's for the best thing for society. That's psychological manipulation. That's not giving them all the information that's out there, where they're just picking out subjective talking points from the CDC, which is a revolving door with the private sector of this country. So there's no doubt we're living under fascism right now. And this is, if people are wondering how is it that people complied with Nazi Germany, this is how.
Mm-hmm. This is where these comparisons are coming in. I was wondering, Chris, and E and L, what are some of your thoughts on it? I guess I'll start with Chris. What do you think about this? Have you heard about this at all? No.
No, this is my first time. This is actually my first time hearing about it. So I'm just listening. But you know me, Marcus. My thoughts on everything is it's all bullshit. This shit is all planned, and we're just watching. You know the we're just watching the consequences, whether intended or unintended. This just seems to be one of those things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like that. Well, I'm with Chris. I honestly feel like we're just participants in a movie. Some people feel like you can fight and push back in this movie. I don't really feel like you can. I mean, you can make little small margins. It's kind of like in those movies where somebody travels through time. They're able to maybe change a couple of events, but most of the time it still goes the way it was going to go in the first place. Like when they go back in time and they try to stop like this murder.
And then it just keeps happening again. Like it's like fate, right?
Exactly.
Because we're not going far back enough or whatever. But there's no solid strategy here, and there's not enough people that are aware about what's going on. There's too many people that are still asleep, and then some of the people who are aware of what's going on, unfortunately, have very counterproductive strategies for fighting this. And we can go on a whole discussion about that, how some people want to, I don't know, have a counterproductive measures that could set us back even further and have us be labeled as terrorists, etc. Let's not skip steps, people. First things first is informing people about what's going on. You may not have all the information available to you in order to understand what is the best solution going forward. So if you don't have all the information available to you, you could come up with a solution that's not a real solution because that's something the enemy already anticipated.
Yep. What's some of your thoughts on this? I guess I'll save the last take for L. But what are your thoughts, E?
Well, my thought has always been the vaccine has been a vehicle for another level of subjugation and control, right? I mean, if we're already talking about the virus, basically being spread out to everybody, why is there still like this big, huge push to pretty much say, well, we'll lock you up for this, we'll quarantine you for that, we'll put you in a quote unquote hotel. It looks like a prison.
Isn't it funny how they were trying to sugarcoat it? A detention hotel.
Right. I was like, okay.
Well, and the funny
hotel, but you can't leave.
Well, and then
Hotel California.
Not funny, just kind of
it's sad.
The same thing. It was I
delusional.
guess some people who snuck into the country or something like that. They're detaining them in that same place. So everybody that they look at, I mean, obviously it's not a great hotel if you are throwing, the lowest of the low into that hotel, and you're throwing everybody's getting thrown in. It's just like
if it's called detention, as if it's punishment for not obeying what these people want you to do. Oh, you didn't make the right choice. We can't question what they're making us do with our evidence. Like think about it. Like we just have to do what they tell us to do blindly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But in this comment from Shadow here, Shadow says, but Marcus Franco, all we need is a general strike. That's all we need. We're good with a general strike.
I heard a bunch of students like walking out. They did, like a walkout.
A lot of them just wanted to leave school. That's my guess. They'll just use any excuse to walk out.
Franco gives them no credit.
That's the teacher in him calling them out.
Look, that was some bullshit if I ever saw. They tried to say those kids staged a walkout or a strike because there weren't enough tests. Can you imagine a 14 or 16-year-old saying like, oh my God, I don't want to be in school because they won't give us a test? I mean, it's the biggest. Some of these stories are just like they really are trying.
I'm pretty sure it's spun.
Yeah, of course. But all I'm saying is they really want to work your emotions, and they want you to react a certain way. I started looking at this stuff now, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to get triggered, bothered over it. Like the only emotion they're going to get from me is going to be laughter. You know.
L, some of your thoughts on this. I know you got a lot of thoughts on it, so let the people hear what you're thinking.
Yeah, I saw this document on Twitter in a thread. Somebody was asking for sources, and they're like, here it is. And so, yeah, I got a hold of it and looked at it. Nothing new, really. There are a lot of quarantine situations in the United States. There was something I brought up a long time ago, but I never could find the source. I think I found it recently, actually. I might have to find that. Now, let me look for this source for this thing where they were like looking for jobs. Well, they had a job site, like a job website, like a search thing. And they were saying in one of these states, they needed someone to do a to work at a quarantine center, basically. So I'm gonna look for that. Hold on.
Okay. While you do that, I want to read this comment real quick from Mad Marxist. Says, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Revelation 17 and 10. You need to come over. If you're not following me on my Hebrew Apologetics page, please come over and check that out, because I'm going to be getting into that, definitely. Because we're getting closer and closer to a lot of those things in there, in my humble opinion. So we're definitely going to talk that. Somebody else had a comment that I wanted to catch. Where was that?
Mona brought up Russell Brand. I think he's been doing a great
that's
job.
what it was. Russell Brand he's blown me away, honestly.
I mean, he's been pretty solid for.
Yeah.
At the first, I thought he was faking. I thought he was faking it at first. Like I just thought, he was doing it for the clicks and the social media. But
he's doing the spirituality stuff the right way, because he's not just stopping there at just meditation and all this. He's understanding that you have to take into consideration the extended self, and need to understand what is going on in this society. How is it hurting right now, right? What is going on in our politics that directly affects you, it directly affects your neighbors, directly affects your food, it directly affects the air you breathe. If you're not taking care of all of that, if you're not aware about all of that, you're poisoning yourself. So he's been a great source right now. Truly am glad he's helping to awake more people. Because there's a lot of those spiritual channels out there that don't even take politics into account. They don't think it's important, or they think they know, but they just listen to mainstream media and don't question it.
And I started watching his stuff a while ago, probably before Bernie screwed the pooch in 2016. But he used to have a show called True News on YouTube. That was his first political show. And then he got more and more centered and more aware of what was going on over the years. And now he has his brand now where he's questioning the narratives on all fronts.
Yeah,
correct. Jim, real quick, Marcus. Jim Young had a comment. He said, it'll be a hard decision for YouTube to remove any of his content. Speaking of brand, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
4.5 million viewers is very motivational, and this is a hard decision for YouTube to remove any of his content. But if he keeps pushing, they probably will. He can. The only part of Jim's statement I disagree with is the probably part. They will.
Yeah, they're not afraid.
The only reason, correct. The only reason why, the only thing is just a matter of time. They'll probably give him a little bit more leeway than they would any of us, or any of us here talking on the show, or anybody in the crowd. We would get cut real quick. They'll allow somebody like him to get right.
Yeah, most definitely. And I want to make sure to shout out. I saw Uma in here, and mahalo to my brother Jimmy out there. Mahalo. Catherine Goodset Wing. I hope I said that last part correctly. Says in WI, Wisconsin. I'm sure Chapter 51, civil commitment of a person that allows the court to order a mentally ill person take meds or enter mental hospital. Lines being blurred here. That is what their goal is. They're going to take advantage of any of these laws which have blurred lines or which can be murky, and they're going to use it to be able to push forward with the things that they want pushed forward. Hopefully that's not too. Hopefully you guys all get what I'm saying there. And what do we
you know
have
what?
here on the screen?
You know what? Real quick, I just saw a comment from Mona talking about exposing the FDA. Well, speaking of them, didn't the judge just rule that they have to release the data from Pfizer in 8 months
Yeah.
as opposed to 75 years?
Imagine
Yes,
that,
50,000.
75 years.
I know,
It was
right?
it was supposed to be a certain set
Hey.
number of pages every couple of months, I think, or every year.
But they didn't get
until
away
the
with that.
75 years.
because-
Yeah, they didn't get away with it.
Yeah.
Imagine like somebody inviting you for dinner and they're cooking. Oh, what'd you put in this? It tastes really good. Or it tastes really bad. What'd you do? I'm not gonna tell you for 75 years.
And
Or
it's so
95.
convenient because no one who's supposed to be held accountable will be alive in 75 years.
Correct.
They said 95
They'll all
at
be
one
gone.
point.
And
95, yeah.
And-
Wait. Is it 95 or 70? It's 2096.
Yeah, but
But
they
it's in
changed it
70.
to 95, and then they got like overturned on that crap, and the judge was like, "That's
Oh no,
ridiculous."
originally it was 55 years, I think. It was like
55.
2076.
Okay, I'm correct.
And then they
I
pushed
said-
it to
I said
2096.
I said corrected. Thank you.
That's crazy, man. And then all the people that got hurt won't be alive, except for the children who may inherit
Correct.
some of the harmed epigenetic effects, autoimmune diseases from their parents.
Isn't that the same as like the time for like going into the public domain, like 75 years? I think it's similar to that.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
that's
the
a long-
chat is wild tonight. Shadow ban, you better be careful, or else you will be shadow banned. Be a good boy.
Do your strike, shadow ban.
Yeah,
Do
I
the
noticed
strike.
that Franco, you covered this with
Yeah,
on your rock fan exclusively.
yeah. One sec, I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah, Chris, I did that. You had a bad echo, so I muted you real quick. But there you go. Here you go.
Found it.
oh no, you're good. It just I don't know what's up. I guess they don't like what I say, so my computer's been moving really slow. So whenever I see it's on mute, it's really not, and vice versa. But anyway, yeah, this shit is just comedy, man. You just gotta laugh at this stuff and just find ways to pluck the humor out of it, even though it's really serious and it has implications for how we live our lives, big and small. But if you're not raging against a machine, if you're gonna rage against a machine, you're gonna need some friends and you're gonna need a lot of allies, right? So if you're not gonna do that, my next best thing is just to laugh, man. Find the humor in all of it, kid.
That's what we all do, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
see, I'm sharing the Defender article right now that discussed the judge's decision. I thought there's a good JFK quote here. Can you see it? Oh, I see. All right, it's being shared. In his ruling, Judge Mark Pittman of the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Texas quoted President John F. Kennedy, writing, "A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people." So they're afraid of us questioning them. Why are they afraid of us questioning what they're telling us to do? Is it because it's going to hurt their pockets? It's going to hurt their donors? And their future job as a lobbyist?
It's ironic that he used a JFK quote, considering that JFK's documents surrounding his assassination basically have went through kind of the same ordeal. They kept it locked down for, you know, if they push it back any farther, it'll be like pushing it back 75 years. I mean, at this point now, it's been pushed back, what, 60s, what, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020. Yeah, roughly about 70 years that a lot of that information has been pushed back. And the reason why they push that information back is because they try to push it back to anybody who was involved. If anything comes out shady, in which we already know something shady is definitely going to come out, they want to protect the powerful, as they always do. That's what all this stuff is about most of the time.
Yeah. Look at it. What is it? 500 pages per month. Why not just release it all right away? Right. Another thing that Pfizer and Moderna, all of them do is they show us what the relative risk reduction is, which is not the absolute risk reduction when comparing people who haven't been vaccinated versus people who have been vaccinated, and how much their chances are of going to the hospital or of getting COVID. And if you look at the absolute risk reduction, it's either barely over 1% for Moderna or it's less than 1% for Pfizer. So if people knew the actual truth of you have really less than 1% of a risk reduction if you take this vax than if you don't get vaxxed, how many people do you think would be like, what the heck is the point of this then? And if if it's going to wane off after a few months, then what's the point? And if natural immunity, according to articles by Nature and Science and all these other articles, show that natural immunity is robust, it can protect you from 23 different variants. It's from an article from Science. It's something that even these shitlibs praise. None of this is being brought up.
Nope.
And then they change the definitions about what counts as a COVID death to scare people, so that the numbers get inflated. And then there's all these people on YouTube and such that are so indoctrinated, like, oh, I have my PhD, I'm going to debunk Robert Malone. You can do that, but you have to also, in your analysis, you have to add the context of how is the science field processing, right? Who is controlling the narratives? Who is changing the definitions? What work is more likely to receive grants, etc.? How will these definition changes by these people at the top, how is that going to affect the way people look at the results?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the articles that I want to get into a little bit later on, I don't know if you guys saw it in the thumbnail, Chris sent it over to me. What was he, Norwegian? I believe Norwegian lawmaker who was calling out their prime minister on the Great Reset. And Crystal sat there and literally mocked the whole Great Reset thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, we talked about it on your show, Franco. There's literally a book from Klaus Schwab. He wrote, he wrote the book about COVID-19, the Great Reset. We didn't make this up. This is the book this man wrote.
Oh, speaking of our overlord, Mr. Schwab, I want to be very respectful to our Lord and Savior Schwab. Did you guys watch did you see that video with the Netherlands politician?
Pull it up.
I'm sure you probably saw it.
Pull it up. They got to see it. If they didn't see it, pull it up. And we're gonna put it on full screen.
Yo, I loved Shadowban's imitation of Crystal Ball.
L, if you have that thing from the Netherlands, their parliament or whatever, put it in the private chat so Marcus could post it. My computer's moving too slow to be useful tonight. Sorry, guys. I'm not on it like that. But L, no, we're not non-binary and none of that shit over here. I like, women. And,
No, we are, because we're not computers. That's my point.
I know,
I'm
teasing.
We're non-binary.
I know, L, I'm
They're
teasing.
not special. They're not special.
I want to say, is it in the
What are you guys looking for? The video?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pull it up real quick.
because I know that probably a lot of people, unless they follow in the circles we do on Twitter, a lot of them probably haven't seen this at all. And I think that they definitely need to see this. It's funny. I'm listening to some of the reading some of the comments out there. Yes, Mona. Anytime you want to come on the show, you definitely can. You all can have your ladies' night on the show. Yes, it's no problem.
Here you go.
All right.
It's right in the beginning too.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna put the volume up so you guys can hear. Ready?
And a lot of you guys want us to cover the story, and I do think it's really interesting.
Yes.
And
So
very
we listened to the whole thing. Let's put that at the very
So, okay.
both of us.
It has become very prominent, especially in those who we'll call vaccine hesitant and also anti-vaxxers, like outright anti-vaxxers. He went on Joe Rogan's podcast for a lengthy interview. We both listened to all of it.
The entire thing.
So that
Yes.
we could be educated on who this individual was, what exactly he was saying, what arguments he was making. He also then afterwards went on InfoWars,
Which Crystal listened to and I did not.
which
Yeah.
I also listened to.
Yeah.
And we'll get into a little bit more of the substance of what he's saying, et cetera. But it was interesting to me that clearly with Rogan, he knows Rogan is smart. He can be, skeptical and inquisitive. He has a lot of, data to back it up. And so he brought like the sciencey version of himself to Rogan. On InfoWars, he was full in like Great Reset, New World Order, World Economic Forum. He really kind of let it all hang out there. So put that to the side and we'll get to more of that in a moment. The reason that a lot of people are now talking about this and paying attention is because YouTube took down all of the clips of the interview that Malone did with Rogan. This also, he did the interview, it was like a day after Twitter had banned his account.
Permanently.
So Twitter and YouTube both censoring what Robert Malone is ultimately saying. Let's go ahead and throw the Daily Mail tear sheet up on the screen here. They say YouTube and Twitter delete Joe Rogan interview with scientists who helped invent mRNA vaccines. Dr. Robert Malone claimed U.S. is now like Nazi Germany, with society hypnotized to believe in vaccines and extreme pandemic measures. The quote that they're referring to there, which was controversial about what he was saying on Rogan's podcast, as he said, quote, "It was from basically European intellectual inquiry into what the heck happened in Germany in the 20s and 30s. Very intelligent, highly educated population, and they went barking mad. And how did that happen? The answer is mass formation psychosis. When you have a society that has become decoupled from each other and has free-floating anxiety in a sense that things don't make sense, we can't understand it, and then their attention gets focused by a leader or series of events on one small point. Just like hypnosis, they literally become hypnotized and can be led anywhere." Okay, so that was part of what was so controversial about what he was saying.
And the clips specifically, which were taken off and censored. Yeah.
Yes, very true. So let me start with the part that, actually, all of this to me is fairly straightforward, but we have a very clear stance on this show. I think, and I'm going to get into this more, I do think that this individual is irresponsible. I think he only focuses exclusively on the risks. I think he cherry picks his evidence with regards to what he wants to say about the vaccine, does not focus at all on the benefits. In some areas, he's...
That's absolutely not true right there. He does talk about the benefits. What he discusses is all the stuff that the media is not talking enough about. If nobody's talking about the risks, then of course he's going to have to focus on that, just like everybody else who's concerned has to focus on all that evidence that's now mounting over everything that's being reported on VAERS, everything the CDC even acknowledges, but tries to minimize by adding their subjective points of, still safe and effective. That's just a subjective take based on research that they've come across. If a risk exists, why would you make everybody take it? Why can't people have a choice? Why can't, and it's not just talking about the vaccine, you have to also take into context the disease. How deadly is it actually?
Well, it's funny, on that very segment, she talks about how he picks his, he cherry picks information. She literally only gets information from like basically the Atlantic. How is that not cherry picking? But sorry.
she's a hypocrite.
Oh, I
Like
just
they're
Straight up
cherry picking
downplayed the whole
information.
Great Reset, the whole World Economic Forum. Now she was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about any of that. That's nothing. That's nothing. Don't worry. Just woo." I was halfway
I
expecting
just
her to do like the Jedi mind trick or something like that. You didn't see that part.
All right, guys, I gotta head out. I appreciate you guys having me on. I promised my wife I would
appreciate
watch
you
a
being
movie
here,
at this
Franco.
time.
Thank you.
But I had a blast, and I look forward to coming on again, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Definitely. You know, you're always welcome here. Always welcome.
For sure. And I'll
Franco,
bring you
thanks for
guys on
passing
soon
by,
too.
man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care,
Love you,
guys.
Franco.
All righty, brother.
Appreciate you, Franco.
But let me try to see if I can pull up that one clip which Chris sent me. Where is it at? You know which one I'm talking about, Chris? The one you sent me earlier today. From you said Norwegian?
Oh yeah. The guy from from the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Can you pull that one up?
Yeah. L, did you find it?
Yeah.
I needed more information than that. Sorry, it won't. I can't find anything without the information.
Because I definitely.
Like, what did he say?
Let me see if I can find where this originates from. Or do you want me to just send it to you, L?
I need more information about it.
It's just just look up like Netherlands politician or Netherlands Parliament, Klaus Schwab or Great Reset, something like that.
Oh,
You'll
Klaus.
find it.
I got it. I just need another thing.
There you go. I just sent it to your Twitter. It says, Marcus, why are you reverb echoing all the time? Well, it happens whenever. Well, Chris, he got the mega speaker over there, so he's the reason why I'm always echoing. That's the reason why. I mean, I don't know if he thinks he's Radio Raheem or something from Do the Right Thing, but that's why I'm always reverbing. It's all Chris's fault. It says, yes, Bruno is actually his first name. See, there he is, Radio Raheem in the house. And also, I got while you're pulling that one up, remember, I guess we can always, as Elle loves to say, we can circle back to it. Yes, RIP Radio Raheem. But I will pull up this Biden. Remember, I was telling you guys about this Smerconish clip, and I know it's CNN, so please don't beat me up in the comments too much. But he kind of nails him pretty nasty. Oh, wait a minute. Do you have that? Let's see what's in the private. No, that's Prince. No, that's something else. Well, yeah, let me go ahead and show this one. And I want to get some reactions to this clip. So bear with me one sec. All right, are we seeing it? Yeah, there we go. And let's play.
Forced errors. I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. It's a big weekend in the NFL, but I'm not talking about football. It's the Biden administration. And by now, you know the president's week was a disaster. COVID is not contained, the messaging's a mess, and the Supreme Court struck down the president's employer mandate. Supply chain problems persist. Inflation is at its highest level in 40 years. Build Back Better is nowhere. Any effort to protect voting rights lacks the votes necessary for a filibuster carve-out. And there's a question of how to react to Russia amidst reports that it's ready to raise a false flag as a pretext to invade Ukraine. It's enough for Biden to be envious of Boris Johnson. Against this backdrop, hosting a BYOB garden party while the rest of the nation is in lockdown, that's a walk in the park. No wonder the president's approval rating, according to a survey released this week by Quinnipiac University, stands at just 33%. The White House response was to argue that Quinnipiac is an outlier and that the real number, according to a 538 average, is 43% approval, as in, we know things are bad, but they're not that bad. While some of the vexing issues are arguably beyond a president's control, many were missteps, not the sort of thing that you'd expect from a Washington lifer who campaigned as seasoned and experienced. Take the Tuesday speech. The president hoped for a momentum shift with a trip to Georgia. Perhaps his exuberance was born of beer muscles from the positive reaction to the speech that he delivered on the January 6th anniversary. This was Biden again seeking to project strength through spite. Only this time, without Donald Trump as a target, he missed the mark. His comparison of today's opponents of his voting rights measures to the racists of the civil rights era was an overreach and off-putting. At the Wall Street Journal, Peggy Noonan, herself a former Ronald Reagan speechwriter, wrote this. The speech itself was aggressive, intemperate, not only offensive, but meant to offend. It seemed prepared by people who think there is only the Democratic Party in America. That's it. Everyone else is an outsider who can be disparaged. It was a mistake on so many levels. Noonan is right. Where was Biden's political savvy and the judgment of those who advise him? What made them think that a fire and brimstone speech delivered in Atlanta would reach its intended audience of two, a senator in West Virginia and another from Arizona? If Sinema and Manchin have shown us anything, it's that they're not susceptible to pressure from that kind of speech or direct appeal. The only way to get their votes, if they're gettable, is through quiet persuasion, not public bombast. The president didn't even win the plaudits he'd anticipated from the left, where his remarks were seen as too little and too late. Stacey Abrams didn't even attend the speech in her home state, citing an unspecified scheduling conflict. Really? The only thing tangible to come from the speech, a 4 Pinocchio rating from the Washington Post for the president's false claim that he'd been arrested in the context of discussion of the civil rights movement. Compounding the Tuesday trip, on Thursday, for the third time in the last year, Biden headed to Capitol Hill to meet with Democrats behind closed doors and came back empty-handed. Another rookie mistake. Who allows the president to put the prestige of his office on the line with a visit to cajole lawmakers without knowing in advance that the deal can get done? Like a summit with a world leader, you only make the trip to Capitol Hill when you know you'll have something to announce when it's over. In this case, Senator Sinema didn't even await his arrival. Instead, she took to the floor and announced that while she backed 2 new voting rights measures, she will not support an effort to weaken the filibuster. And not to be outdone, soon after the presidential meeting, Joe Manchin then released a statement announcing that he too was against ending the filibuster. In the final analysis, though, what matters to the American public is the economy. And considering the pandemic and notwithstanding inflation, it nevertheless remains remarkably strong. When we get past COVID, the president's unforced errors may be forgotten, and people may again vote with their wallets. But for right now, his mistakes and the pandemic loom large. I want to know what you think. Go to my website, Smerconish.com, and answer this week's survey.
I got something to say.
That's enough. I'm done with him.
Okay. I got something. Okay, first of all, there's so much. Oh my God. First
That's
of all,
what I'm saying. It's so.
No, wait. So first of all, I'm so glad I missed the speech. Second, what is wrong with him? He is walking all funny. Okay.
Yeah.
He was walking straight up funny. That's number one. Number two, why is CNN pointing out fucking shit wrong with him? Why is it CNN? Why isn't it some indie media? Why is it
that bad now? It's
right?
That bad that they can't. They even gotta call it out.
And then even Stacey Abrams didn't show up. His hype man didn't even show up. The hype man who went on The View, right? Who went on The View, screaming his praises. Not even like a week or two ago. Now I just said I just can't show up. My schedule's all weird. Give me a break, man. And then he finally says the economy's great. Man, I got people saying that the train people are on strike. Aisles are empty. Food's not getting food's not getting delivered, supply chain's getting low. Fuck him. Fuck CNN, man. God damn. Even at the end, because at the end he still spit out the same idiotic talking point that the probably had a bad week, but the economy is fine. Fucking stupid. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, and here, let me answer this question quick from what was it? Where to go? Taboo writer, you got in a little too late. You just missed him. You just missed him.
That was funny.
No, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just saying what he was saying. That shit was funny as hell, but it's all true. I mean, what was Stacey Abrams doing? She hasn't missed a chance to show up on TV. I mean, wasn't that the same chick who was basically begging to be picked as the VP?
Exactly. Now, all of a sudden, she was so close to having Kamala Harris's job. So close to being the hype man. Give me a fucking break. All right. So all of a sudden she doesn't show up because she knows. She knows. She knew. She knew. They're about to. I feel like they're about to get rid of him. He's about to have a little slip and fall, something
here.
Yeah, slip and fall, something like that. Because we were all talking about it. We were like, this won't last. We were giving I don't even remember. Do you remember the numbers we gave? I think I gave it a year, 2.
I think you said a year. I think I gave it a year and a half, 2. I said the midterm.
Right.
I think Chris. I don't remember what you said. How long you gave it? How long did you give? Biden the last?
Damn, we have to go back and look. I want to start lying and say one thing. I just can't remember. What did I say? I don't know. Most of the first term, but look. You know, who was it? Who wrote that op-ed? El, maybe you know. Somebody wrote an op-ed with Thomas Friedman, right? That's his name? I guess so. Anyway, he wrote an op-ed.
You're talking about with the Biden and Cheney thing?
And yes. Yeah, El, I didn't want to lie to you. But yeah, so you notice they got rid of the listen to black girl, Kamala Harris, right? And they just like, let's bring in the Cheney. This is great.
Yeah, I mean all of that. I mean, dude, he hit so many topics on there, like 7% inflation, which I saw Being Cannabis talk about. That's something that's not getting talked about. I remember listening to, and just a disclaimer. I listened to some of the boutique leftists, so you guys don't have to, And I remember Crystal and Sagar about 4 or 5 months ago talking about how, this inflation is just temporary. It won't be around long. And then watch it continue. And then they're like, well, actually, I think we misquoted it. So it's going to tick up a little. Then it jumped up to 7% in one day. And Jerome Powell is talking about, we got to kind of right the ship. So they've been pumping money in. And it's not just now. And I know some people who are on the right, they want to jump on the, hey, Biden bandwagon. But it's both sides, because under Trump, they were throwing in trillions of dollars also. They just wasn't doing it right in front of everybody's face. They were slipping it into the bond markets and stuff like that while nobody was paying attention. And so the Trump administration was throwing in trillions of dollars, and then they're throwing in trillions of dollars. And now they're like, shit, we got to face this shit now. We got to deal with it. And so some people are trying to blame it on, it's because a couple of people got raises. That's not why we're going through all this inflation right now. It has nothing to do. It has to do with the government running completely ineffectively. And so we got that issue going on. And then I wanted to go to a topic which I don't even know if I'm surprised E didn't weigh in on this part. Is Elle gonna show proof of life? Is she gonna show proof of life? For those who are not familiar, so she does not come on camera like ever. We might have a breaking moment here. Elle might actually show her There's a
He
finger.
showed a
There's a
finger.
finger. There is a finger. She's alive.
And that wasn't my art, by the way. That I don't know. It's not my art.
Yes,
it was good art though.
25th Amendment. Yes, Jimmy. He does need to be 25th Amendment. I mean, I almost thought like they might have like he had those same braces that Tom Hanks had in Forrest Gump when he was walking out on stage because how stiff his legs were moving. I don't know what was going on with the man there. And then he went back to one of his favorite lies again, that he was about to tell everybody that he got arrested in the civil rights era. I mean, anybody out there who does little graphic cuts and things like that, who are better than myself, of course, can somebody please make a meme of Joe Biden getting arrested, trying to see Nelson Mandela? That would just make my day. If somebody
they're already calling him a lame duck president. I'm like,
he already is a lame duck president,
right? I'm like, if they're publicly saying it out loud, like before, like remember, we couldn't get anybody to listen, we couldn't get anybody to believe it. Now mainstream media is just spitting it out like vomit. Give me a break.
Yeah, so you got cryo synth in the building, but I mean, for one, they already talked about his Build Back Better. Couldn't get that done. $15 minimum wage. Couldn't get that done. What? I'm sorry, I got distracted. Look at what Misha is saying. L, is that why you don't come on camera? We know the truth now. We know the truth. We know the truth.
Exactly, SD. Exactly.
But couldn't get that done. Couldn't get this other thing. There's so much that this man cannot get done. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say that's why it's important you keep your pants on, like while you're doing the show, because in case the camera falls or you stand up, you're not put out on Front Street. Me, I always have on shorts or some pants.
Just so they know, I'm fully dressed. So
correct.
even with shoes on. So yes, I'm fully dressed. Believe it or not, sometimes I got on PJs. So hey, don't hate on me. We do run the show late, so on purpose. Is she tubing it? see, you're gonna get us all sidetracked. For those who are not used to the just shoes, wow. For those who are not used to our show and for just tuning in, we do kind of go a little off the rails sometimes and go way off topics, having a little bit too much fun because, hey, you got to laugh at some of this shit. You got to laugh sometimes. Chris don't play. He always has his pen. Hey, in fact, Chris always have like a 3-piece suit on. So let's just be honest. He really has a T-shirt over his 3-piece suit to try to dress down. But, that's another subject. No Glory. We're not talking the monkey story tonight. Not bringing up the monkey. Okay. So we're going to leave the monkey on what day do I talk about the monkey? We're going to leave it on that show. For those who don't know, you guys need to go back to our our New Year's Eve show.
19.
You guys can look up the monkey and figure out what we're talking about. I wanted to go into MLK. Let's see if I could. One of my favorite MLK quotes. I'll go ahead and just read it. Crap, we never brought that video up. Well, we can always come back to that video. Yes, we are gonna do as Elle says, circle back. But famed MLK quote. I want to read it because I feel like we are completely living in those time periods right now, especially with the politicians that we have in charge. Let me just get it real quick. I keep a lot of crap in my phone, so don't beat me up if it takes me a little while to dig through that. Oh, yeah. While we're at it, let's go back to an oldie but goodie Biden quote. On reparations, Biden says, "I'll be damned if I feel responsible to pay for what happened 300 years ago. Biden 1975, just in case you guys forgot. So for any of your shit-lived friends out there who talk about Biden, make sure to bring that quote up and remind them. But here, no, that's not the one. Let's see, where is that? I just had it. So many quotes in my phone. If I lost this, boy, guys, just gold right here. So I'll go on ahead and read it. It says, I must confess that over the past few years, I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's greatest stumbling block in this stride towards freedom is not the white citizen's counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is in the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is in the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek. Sound familiar? But I cannot agree with your methods or direct action. Kind of funny. A lot of people out there have been pushing direct action. Who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by a mythical concept of time, and who constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. So that is MLK. I wanted to read that quote in particular since MLK Day will be coming up pretty soon. Yeah, nobody says Negro, but it's not actually an offensive term. In Latin, Spanish, and Greek, all it means is black. And so you can say that it's more racist that they decided to describe the people by not even with their skin tone, because there's not very many people who are actually even close to black. Most people are, you could say, brown or darker brown, but not more. There's very, very little people who are actually black. So back in those early days, since you had a lot of melanated people, they were often referred to by their nation, not by their skin color. So it has that, fun fact, most people are not black or white. Exactly, Elle. Most people belong to a nation. The whole concept of black and white all comes from the Europeans at the time deciding that white represented purity. And so they wanted to say that they were pure while the others, the brown or melanated people, were negative or evil in some kind of way. So that was just a way of subconsciously throwing a slight at whole nations of people. I like the choice, Glory. Let me put this on the screen. Where did that go? Says, I like the choice words of Marcus Garvey, had the white moderate. Yeah, yeah, we're not going to bring that one up, but we'll bring it up on one of these shows. Definitely. Definitely a big fan of Marcus Garvey. And there's some interesting stuff. If you guys are not familiar with Marcus Garvey, if you look into his court cases, when he was trying to take people out of the United States, which eventually led to the nation of Liberia. That's a whole nother historical reference to go into, but I don't want to sidetrack too much off of MLK. I often wonder sometimes, from what was perceived to be accomplished during his time period, how much he got done. How pleased would he be with today? So, I want to throw that over to you first. MLK, how do you think that he would view today and today's politicians in like the state of the so-called black community?
I think MLK. Well, I think first of all, I think he would be deeply, deeply ashamed for this hypocritical American circle jerk around his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I honestly think he would. I honestly think at some point he would have leaned toward He would lean toward. I like Malcolm X's quote: "You can't pull out. You can't stab me with a 9-inch. You can't stab me with a 9-inch blade. Pull out 7 inches of it and call it progress. You gotta take it out. Wounds gotta heal, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Closer, tail end. What he was trying to solve the plight of the poor, trying to solve poverty. Sometimes I just, you get mad. You get mad that these police and these government officials and these billionaires and they all glorify his name, and they want to give him all these nice things and do all this nice stuff, but to the people he was trying to save, to the descendants he was trying to save, you still treat them like crap. You still treat them like shit. So the hypocrisy sickens me. And every year, the hypocrisy just gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask also, what would you think, like, his opinions of, say, a Stacey Abrams, who is, like, trying to represent his state?
I think he would come up with, like, a new speech entitled "The Black Moderate." Do we really need him? Right?
Ooh, good take. I mean, because you got to remember, by now, he would be what? In his 90s?
93?
Yeah.
They were talking about how he'd be 93.
He would have a lot more vinegar in these new speeches, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm reminded of that Boondock. Remember that Boondocks episode where he woke up and it was like the 21st century, and he tried to hold his composure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like hearing their crap, hearing their crap over and over again, and then finally, I think they were celebrating something for him, and he just completely lost it, and he's like, "Screw y'all, I'm leaving." So
I mean, I agree. Since Elle is on, Elle is also from Georgia, also. Even though she lives out in California, Elle is not a white moderate, so let's not throw her in there as the white moderate. Just don't think, for those who don't know, because she's white, that she's a white moderate. Elle, what's some of your thoughts on it?
Fuck white moderates.
Well, I can't agree more.
Fuck black moderates. Fuck Asian moderates.
I can't agree more.
Brown moderates. Fuck, what is the word? Arab moderates. Fuck Jewish moderates. Fuck, was another one? Native American moderates, if they exist. I've never heard of them, but they might. I don't know. But fuck all moderates. L out.
Elle sounds like the dude or the girl's getting ready to quit her job, and she's tired of everybody at the job. Yeah, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you, fuck you.
Half baked. That's where you got it from. Half baked, right, Marcus? Half baked. I'm sorry to remember that.
I sound like that because I am that, by the way.
No. I mean, I agree. I agree, and I know she means it genuinely.
Leaving my job, but yeah.
Oh
wow.
Oh well, I
You
mean,
heard it here first. They have child vaccine mandates, and I do not agree with it, and I will not be working any longer. And I don't think my boss watches this or even knows this exists, so he might be a moderate himself. So nothing to worry
he's
about.
in Hollywood. He probably is a Hollywood. I mean, he probably is. Everybody thinks like California is this blue state. It is like a sky blue, because their head is in the fucking clouds, and it's only the elite. It is not like some kind of actual, revolutionary blue, blue collar. No, it's elite tech, Hollywood, elite blue, the Alyssa Milano blue, the Nancy Pelosi blue. That's the kind of blue you got here. you don't have any of the great blue icons or whatever. None of that exists here. Let's see. And I wanted to pull up your clip, Chris. Do we have that? So you gotta let's see, what do we have here? Which one of these you want to bring up, El?
Oh, I just found the quote that we referenced in the Biden speech and thought it would be funny to hear it from himself.
All right, let's see if
I think this is exactly the quote. I remember watching it multiple times in awe.
Oh shit! Do you know where it is? This thing is 1 hour and 14 minutes long. At 1:08. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Let me pull that up then. Get it ready. Yeah, Chris, and my New Yorker, what are some of your thoughts on this?
What you talk about, Willis?
MLK Day.
MLK and how he would feel on.
Oh, got you. Well, considering his age he was when he died, right now he would probably be Maxine Waters, like, John Lewis, like, Clyburn, like. I don't know if he would actually have remained the same guy who gave that speech in 1967.
Damn, that's sad to think about.
I just realized that too.
Yeah, very possible, because if you think about it, John Lewis, he started off, well, no, let's be honest. John Lewis was like the dude who was just hanging out with him because they were the cool club. And then once he saw an opportunity move up, he sold out as fast as humanly possible. And the same with the Clyburns and all of them. I honestly think that they were sellouts from the jump. They weren't legit. I mean, Jesse Jackson, I think he wasn't legit. Even even your boy from New York, Al Sharpton. Sharpton was basically like a race ambulance chaser. That's basically what he is. Let's just jump on any kind of racial issues and see if I can make a buck or get some fame off of it. And that's all I see from the poor man. I don't know. I could be wrong. What are your thoughts?
I'm just saying, it's like the Batman movie, right? What did they say in the Batman? You either die, you be the hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I mean, that's really what it would have been with any of them, with the exception of maybe Malcolm. But, they all would have been, the Republicans are dangerous, the Democrats are better. That's all it would have been.
I guess in reality, we all wanted. I guess I always had this fantasy that MLK would have ended up like Stokely Carmichael.
Well, he never went that. I mean,
I know, but he never went that way. He did. You're right. He never. He never went that way.
He never softened. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, but we did watch Malcolm soften. So that's a whole other subject. But let's go on ahead and put this clip in. Let's see what we got here. You said about 108.
And so there's a mantle here to be taken up. Not just
at the end, 108.00. I fucked up. I put 00 after that, so you would know towards the end.
All right, hold on.
That dude looks like that guy from Larry.
That's right. I remember this. Okay.
What's his face? The guy from Colbert.
Jeez, you watched all of this?
Unfortunately, yes, I did.
Jeez,
are you a masochist?
This part multiple times.
Are you a masochist?
Actually, yes. I definitely am.
Jeez, what the?
know,
Okay,
right?
can't do it. I gotta at least have some kind of entertainment, and the fact that
I would need
can't
breaks.
smoke anymore. Nope. Nuh-uh.
I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old. I was there as well. They think I'm kidding, man.
Hold on. He said he was there as well.
Anyway.
Well, you know what? Before we get at him for lying and saying that he was there,
What you
he
calling it a
probably
lie
was there.
for? It's a bald face lie. That's what. Just call it what it is. Just call it a bald face lie. Just lie.
Hold on, E. He might have been there talking about, yo, lock him up too. Get his black ass. I hate him. Get him. So yeah, he might have been there, just not for the reason he wants us to think.
Hey, I see you. But I guess we'll get back to it. I was enjoying it. You got any more comments on it? Please fire away.
Since he was there in spirit, I guess that must mean something in his imagination. In spirit, in his imagination. How about that?
Maybe
he imagined that it happened, and because he imagined it, he believed it.
Well, you got to remember back in the day, didn't he used to say the little kids used to play on his legs? And so maybe because the kids were on his legs playing with the hair on his legs, one of those kids got arrested and vicariously he got locked up too. I don't know. I'm trying to reach for the man. I'm trying to reach. But I don't. I mean, he probably got arrested, probably, with George Bush on a wild drinking binge at some point in time, which cops probably like he had. See, Lucky Burrito out there. Namaste. But yeah, let's hop back into this clip.
Struggles here. They were the ones that opened my eyes as a high school student in the late 50s and early 60s.
Damn.
They got me more engaged in the work of my life and what we're talking about today.
Wait a minute. He said late 50s? I mean, this dude was literally living the Grease era. I'm trying to remember, was that show with the Fonz where he used to bump the jukebox?
Happy Days.
Happy Days. Is this what Biden's talking about? Go ahead, Chris. Oh, you're on mute, Chris.
No, I was just gonna say Happy Days. The same thing that E said. That was the show. That's where we get Jumping the Shark from, right? That's where it comes from?
Exactly.
That term, yes.
And I see Lucky says, how are y'all? We're all doing great. Hopefully everybody is doing great. Super low volume. Let me see if I can turn the volume up then. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. I guess I'm all the way up. Here, I'll mute. Maybe that'll help.
Today is rooted in the very idea of America. The idea that Annelle Ponder, who graduated from Clark Atlanta, captured in a single word. She was a teacher and a librarian who was also an unyielding champion of voting rights. In 1963, when I was just starting college and university, after registering voters in Mississippi, she was pulled off a bus, arrested and jailed, where she was brutally beaten. In her cell next to her was Fannie Lou Hamer.
I know this is just, I don't know if comedy is right at the time, but in my spirit, I almost felt like he was going to say, in that cell next to her was a young Joe Biden. I mean, I know maybe I shouldn't be joking about that, but that's what I was almost waiting to hear from him. Yes, corn pop brought you back by a segregationist. Well, you got to remember, corn pop is why he was so angry.
He really has no business mentioning Fannie Lou Hamer. Like, they wrote that for him and told him plug that in. That works with the blacks. They like her, so just make sure you mention her. It's really sad because, again, they showed up there in an audience full of black people to discuss voting rights. Okay, fine. If you feel that that issue is specific to black people and you want to help them out with it, all right, cool. You don't come there for anything else. So what? We can't talk economics. We can't talk geopolitical issues. We can't talk health issues. Because they never do anything. I just wanted to point that out. That's why the Democrats can kiss my ass. Like, they're so full of shit. I'm tired.
No, actually, I just I use StreamYard. So yes, that's how. Well, a lot of the other content creators use StreamYard also. Sorry, talking some content creator stuff to my buddy Jim, but a lot of them, they just get so involved in their conversations that they don't bring as many of the chats up as we do. We like to keep everybody as involved in the show and the dialogue as much as possible. We don't want to just sit up here like, you guys come to tune to us. No, we come here to have a conversation and get together. So we try to do it as much as possible. So that's what we're doing here. But yeah, it blows my mind. And I said this on Twitter the other day. I said, you had all the things that he could have brought up. He could have actually done some kind of actual, the $15 minimum wage in a lot of cities could have actually helped a lot of black and brown people. He could have, did something with putting more voting precincts in, actual, so people who do want to go vote, they're not in black and brown neighborhoods, are not standing in line forever. They could have worked, Obama could have worked on gerrymandering during his time period, so you wouldn't be fighting a lot of these battles which you're fighting now, because it's only because Republicans were able to take over certain legislatures that they were able to force their will and strip away some of these voting rights laws. But here's the thing, even if you got voting rights acts passed, what are we voting for? We're going to vote for more people like Biden to get in there and not do shit? What's the fucking point of that? I mean, seriously, you're going to get anti-lynching bill. Did they get that passed? I mean, could they even get past an inquiry just to talk about reparations? Can't get that passed either. I mean, what else?
No, you can't. You can't get any of that. I mean, again, this is pandering in the worst way. And like you said, what are your choices if you vote? I mean, you're voting for dog shit or cat shit. Which one do you want on your plate? Either which way you look at it, it's still shit. The best thing for us to do is to ignore them, not participate in the system. But that's easier said than done for most people. I don't know why it's so difficult to just not participate. I guess the programming is so good that they're of the mindset that, if I don't, then that means there's going to be more people who politically disagree with me. Even more of them are going to go and participate. So let me go. I mean, it's sad. I mean, nobody should be listening to Corn Pop here who knows about roaches from black kids. They shouldn't be listening about anything.
See what he was really saying. Oh, go ahead, E.
No, see the problem I have with people watching his speech is like, if you took out all the numerous black references, he didn't just use Hamer. I think he used a couple of them. I think he used like Tubman and a bunch of them. You took in all the black references, it's pretty much Democrat policy all the way, right? It's just Democrat policy all the way. If you look at the rest of them, if you look at the rest of his administration, what do they say about $15 minimum wage and universal health care and all the rest of it? Oh, it's pie in the sky. It's bunny rabbits and horseshoes. Be realistic, all right? So,
I mean,
I'm unsurprised.
Just like Jimmy just put there, there's still West Virginia is still at $7.50 an hour. The state I grew up in, state of Kansas, is at what, $7.25 or something like that. When I was living in Florida is at what, the same, like $7.25 or something. Crazy
Exactly,
like
Thomas.
that. Let me get down and catch up. What Thomas said.
Just put it in.
Just put it in. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Dim's voting right bill is
sorry, Marcus, real quick. I'm referencing Thomas, Oklahoma's comment right here, right?
Okay.
He said voting rights bill is a response to gerrymandering. It's all drama theater to get us to vote in the two-party system. I would also say that that's what this is. One, it's like, oh my God, Brandon, let's go, Brandon. It's so bad. Let's go back and vote for the other one. So they always tend to make these people appear to be extremists on one side or the other, just so people will still support the quote unquote other political party, even though we know it's only a uniparty and it's just the two wings on the same bird.
Now, L, don't put that evil on corn pops. Don't do that.
I like Ricky Rant's comment here. It says Joe Rogan should just run for president and do podcasts from the White House to piss people off. I think it would be hilarious. Yeah, if this happened, Rogan and Cage, I'm telling you, I would have to hire like Secret Service from outside of this country. I would not trust the American Secret Service. I swear, I would have to, I don't know, deputize, like, I don't know, I won't even say it because it'll probably get me in trouble, but I would not trust no Americans unless, not even family. I couldn't trust no Americans to be my Secret Service.
They've already proved that, Lucky Burrito.
I would be so
the
dead.
DNC pretty much said the DNC can just put in whoever they want and votes don't really matter. And they're even trying to revise that in the wake of trying to get the voting rights bill passed. They're basically saying, oh, that didn't happen. They never carried it to court. But what they don't say is that they didn't carry it to court, but the court officially recognized that, yes, the DNC can do that. They can place the person they want and they don't need to vote. And your vote doesn't count.
Exactly, Glory. I would need fucking Goku as my bodyguard. That's who I would need. I mean, shit. I would. Man, you guys have to.
I think Vegeta. Goku.
Are y'all looking at Kakarot right here? What y'all need? What y'all need?
If we're talking about guarding people, it's Vegeta.
I would literally be the only president that would literally walk around with like a bulletproof helmet and like, was it ballistics gear around my throat with like metal armored plates in, and literally walk around with my own guns. And I'm talking about, I'm putting explosive tips on my shit. That way, even if I miss you, all I gotta do is get close enough. You're gonna have to pay for it if you're gonna come after me. Unless, oh shit, they could always hit me with the 50 cal. Nope, I don't know. I would just stay in the bunker the whole time. You don't have to poison me or something crazy. Actually, let me stop telling them my plans. I just stay on the move. I have to put a decoy president and just be the president from outside the country. Go hide in Russia or something crazy. But let's get back to this craziness here.
Who described the beating this way, and I quote, "I could hear the sounds of the licks and the horrible screams. They beat her. I don't know for how long. And after a while, she began to pray, and ask God to have mercy on those people. Annelle Ponder's friends visited her the next day. Her face was badly swollen. She could hardly talk, but she managed to whisper one word: freedom. Freedom, the only word she whispered. After nearly 250 years since our founding, that singular idea still echoes, but it's up to all of us to make sure it never fades, especially the students.
Nope. I gotta interject there. I do not want to hear this man connect a civil rights leader in prison getting beaten to the freedom that the fucking slave masters were crying for. I don't connect that damn freedom to that's not the same damn freedom. Don't connect that shit. Pisses me off to even hear him even put that together. It's disgusting that you're gonna go back to the fucking founders, the people who stole this country and built this country on blood. Let me calm down. Let's let.
I always found it particularly interesting that that they found anybody to sit there, any student to sit there and have Biden give that speech after he effectively screwed them all over on student debt. Because I've been doing HBCU and that debt will. Ooh,
It's bad. It's almost like when I was in the Navy, and at the time when Bush was president, and I'm literally sitting there in the backdrop for Bush, and it's like majority of the people here, none of us fucking like Bush, but we all had to sit there and be a photo op for him, and so that's what they do behind the scenes. They throw troops back there. They go get some students, and they go and find the handful that, hey, you want to keep your scholarship? Hey, you want to get some extra money for scholarship? You're struggling on your grades. You want to get some extra points? Okay, this is what you better do. Here's your extra credit. And so it's not like these people are all like, yeah, I really want to be there. Trust me, these people did not want to fucking be there. Especially right now, Biden is literally probably one of the lowest approval presidents we've had in modern history. So let's keep that all in mind. Yes, Biden does need to be in jail. Somebody who was calling me, they were calling me a Trumper and all that. I said, in all honesty, if you're asking me, pretty much every president since I've been born, I can argue for why they all need to be in prison. And I'm talking about going back to Reagan. Every single one of them, should be in prison in my opinion. But let's go back to the malarkey.
Students here, your generation that just started voting, as there are those who are trying to take away that vote you just started to be able to exercise. But the giants we honor today were your age when they made clear who we must be as a nation. Not a joke. Think about it. In the early 60s, they're sitting where you're sitting. They were you. And like them, you give me much hope for the future. Before and after in our lives, in the life of this nation. Democracy is who we are, who we must be, now and forever. So let's stand in this breach together. Let's love good, establish justice in the gate. And remember, as I said, this is one of those defining moments in American history. Each of those who vote will be remembered by class after class in the 50s and 60s, the 2050s and 60s. Each one of the members of the Senate is going to be judged by history. on where they stood before the vote, where they stood after the vote. There's no escape.
Yeah, we got to get him off the screen.
Let's get back
Like
to work.
he's so annoying. He's so annoying. I can't.
No, the best
I mean,
part
he's
is
ve-
coming. Believe me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, well, it's only a little bit more we got to suffer through. Only a little bit more. The payoff is coming. So.
As my grandfather Finney used to say every time I walked out the door in Scranton, he'd say, Joey, keep the faith. Then he'd say, no, Joey, spread it. Let's spread the faith and get this done. May God bless you all, and may God protect the sacred right to vote. Thank you. I mean it. Let's go get this done. Thank you.
Wow.
Let's go get this done, is what he said. It's almost like he was trying to
It
say, let's
wasn't.
go, Brandon. but he
It
tried
didn't
to.
even. It didn't even. It was stilted. It was almost. You could almost feel the for. You could almost feel it was forced. It was. If it was supposed to inspire hope, it did like the exact opposite of that.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. You had to just.
I apologize. It's my fault.
We got to keep in mind who this guy is, and we need to keep that rage up. So when they start playing these games again, I know it's not going to be hard for us, but when it comes to the point where they start, hey, well, Trump is going to come back and all that, we got to keep that fire up. So when we start dealing with these people on Twitter, all again, who's going to start playing that we need to save everything because of Trump's going to come back and make things worse. We got to remember this piece of shit that we have in office right now. Let's see, any comments you guys like to add there?
No, I think there's an easy edit there. If somebody wanted to make a little video and get that "Let's go," well, they could just go to him and get Brandon, and then they have it. He just keeps saying "Let's go, let's go." I agree, but not with the last part.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out how to bring this. Yeah, did you put that one video in the chat? Because I think that's what I wanted to end with. Private chat. That video that Chris had from his Twitter.
Yeah, it's in there.
Let's see, is this it? Stifle girl? Oh yeah, here we go. Hold on 1 second, peoples. Whoa. Hold on, fella. Hold on, little fella. And here's a little fella. Oh shit, maybe I need to back this out and get back to you guys so I can share it so you guys can see what I'm seeing. But when we were talking about Crystal, and she was, going into her little, Lucky, he virtually almost said, let's go Brandon himself in his own speeches. And he did say it in the holiday greeting. Yes, Jack says. But I'm going ahead and put that in while I keep speaking. But excuse me there. I don't even remember what I was going to say. But remember how we're Kyle was not Kyle. I keep wanting to say Kyle and Crystal, but Crystal and Sagar on Breaking Point's house. She was going into Dr. Robert Malone. He just let it all hang out about about the Great Reset and all that. For those who hadn't seen this clip, I want you guys to see this clip. I'm going to try to put it up as big as possible so you guys can see it. So hold on 1 second. Let me share it. Oh yeah, I want to say before we get into it, make sure you guys, I'll put it up.
Yeah, this is it.
Put it up.
This is the one.
Yeah, I'll put it up large so you guys can be able to see it pretty clearly. But here we go. Hold on 1 second.
Is de heer Klaus Schwab, oprichter en voorzitter van het World Economic Forum. En hij heeft ook een boek geschreven met als pakkende titel COVID-19, The Great Reset. En mijn vraag aan de demissionair minister-president is: hoe beoordeelt hij de inhoud van dit boek?
De minister-president.
Ik ken het boek niet, voorzitter. Maar ik zou de heer Vermeijeren willen adviseren om niet al te veel in al die conspiracy-theorieën. Ik kijk ze ook allemaal op YouTube. Ik vind het altijd fascinerend hoe dan uitgelegd wordt dat 9/11 niet heeft plaatsgevonden of dat het allemaal anders zit. Ontzettend knap in elkaar gezet. Maar het is meestal wat het is, een conspiracy-theorie.
De heer Van Meijeren.
Nou, het verbaast mij dat de eerste vraag die ik aan de heer Rutte stel sinds ik beëdigd ben als Kamerlid direct wordt beantwoord. Dank u wel, maar het verbaast mij dat die eerste vraag direct wordt beantwoord met een leugen. Ik heb namelijk een brief in mijn hand die dateert van 26 november 2020. En dat is een brief van de heer Rutte aan de heer Klaus Schwab, waarin hij de heer Schwab bedankt voor het toezenden van zijn boek. En dit noemt een hoopvolle analyse voor een betere toekomst. Zou de heer Rutte nog even kunnen graven in zijn geheugen? Het is nog geen half jaar geleden, dus ik weet niet hoe lang uw herinneringen actief blijven. Maar waarschijnlijk is dit nog wel ergens op te graven. En mijn eerste vraag opnieuw te beantwoorden en nu eerlijk, alstublieft.
Nou, het eerlijke antwoord is dat dat een nette brief is. Waarin je helaas niet alle boeken die je toegestuurd krijgt van kaft tot kaft kunt lezen. Maar wel degene die je toestuurt een vriendelijke brief wil terugsturen.
Nou, dan zegt de heer Rutte dus eigenlijk dat hij niet heeft gelogen tegen mij, maar tegen de heer Klaus Schwab. Maar laat ik dan hier direct alsnog de vraag stellen. De heer Klaus Schwab, die pleit in zijn boek voor het resetten van onze wereld, om onze nationale parlementaire democratie te vervangen door een globale technocratie. Hij pleit ervoor dat er een einde komt aan privébezit. En de heer Rutte is er kennelijk niet eens van bewust dat hij dit een hoopvolle boodschap voor een betere toekomst heeft genoemd. Hoe is het mogelijk dat de heer Rutte een waardeoordeel hecht aan een boek met een neocommunistische boodschap, terwijl hij dat boek niet eens gelezen heeft?
Dank u wel. De minister-president.
This, I was going to say this clip is it's just indicative of a few things, right? One, the politician lied and tried to make it seem as if, like, I don't know who Klaus Schwab is. I don't know about a book. Clearly, he had the receipts to show him that he was lying. But this shit is all over. This is happening all over. Even in the United States with people's trust in Fauci. Jesus Christ, there's people I work with. Like, if Fauci said to them, go run on I-95, they'd be like, Fauci said go run on I-95. So it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, my thoughts also, it's just the Fauci worship. I mean, I could go into so many stories about some of the people where I have some people who like completely are like they literally are they're kind of the fake anti-vaxxers. The other ones where, oh, I'm not going to take it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And then you say, well, if you don't, you guys will lose your job in overtime. Okay, all right, cool. Or some of the ones where I'm not going to do it. And they say, well, you can't go to a Raiders game. And then they go out and get the vax to go to a Raiders game. Or, oh, you can't go to a concert. So, oh, well, shit, fuck it. I'll go do it now. There's only a handful, I feel, who are truly like sticking to what they believe in, their principles and stuff like this. So it's interesting. Elle, you said it was your first time seeing this. So what's some of your thoughts on the video?
Oh yeah, it's interesting. Netherlands had some issues recently. I think there was information out there that Omicron perhaps maybe had started in the Netherlands. If anyone has any different information, let me know. More up to date. But that's what they were saying, is that it was like spreading through Europe before South Africa had genomically sequenced it, which is what they did. They didn't really find it there. But that's kind of the narrative that they went with. Also, is the ban still in place? I didn't hear anything different recently with the ban on these certain countries like South Africa in the US coming here when we already have Omicron allegedly. So I haven't heard any news on that, but it's interesting. The Great Reset is very interesting and gets more and more interesting as people comply and keep it going.
Well, it's not even going to be I mean, when we say it that way, it's like we have a choice, because most people, they've already got most people living paycheck to paycheck. Most people aren't going to decide to just, risk being homeless or not be able to feed their kids. And that's just kind of the barrel that they've already, it's kind of like playing checkers. I mean, not checkers, but chess. And they've already planned their checkmate so many moves ahead, and now they've got you to only a couple of moves. If you're stuck in that situation, most people aren't going to be able to wiggle out of it. And, it's kind of like why we don't have a protest movement here in the States, because people can't, they don't really have a wiggle room to do much. I guess, Elle, did you have one more thing? Chris has to get going now. But if not, we can go on ahead wrap. Or did you?
Well, just one little thing, very little thing. Well, not a very little thing because it's a big thing, but
quick
there's
thing,
a lot
right?
of ramping up of war talk towards Russia regarding Ukraine and from the U.S., which decried false flag operations insanely. Saki, circle back, Saki. Now we're circling back to Ukraine. Perfect. She said in her last little press conference that, or one of them, that I think it was the last one, but she said that there was a false flag operation in Ukraine probably from Russia, or that they were suspected of planning some false flag operations, which is hilarious. And who would know better about false flag operations than the U.S. government? That's kind of rich coming from them. So that's what I got out of that whole shtick.
Well,
I was just seeing.
Well, I know. I know that that's going to develop more. This is not the last we'll be talking about this story here. I mean, so yeah, we'll definitely pick that one up. You have to remind me on that other story that you had also, Elle, for next week. But I want to thank everybody who came out. Oh, and unless E or Chris, you wanted to drop any quick comments to what Elle mentioned.
No, I didn't want to hear everyone bring it up.
No, I mean that's that Russia, Ukraine, false flag shit. It was corny because look at the source. The United States media is telling us that Russia's planning a false flag event to stay in what is it, Kazakhstan or whatever places.
Right.
I mean, I could be wrong. Elle, correct me if I'm wrong. But the United States telling us about a false flag information. That's kind of like. I mean, I see Elle wrote "Pot Me Kettle," but it's I guess that's a good one.
I guess my question is what aren't they talking about, right? Like, if America brings up some type of a false flag information, I'm just wondering, well, what else is going on? What else are they talking about? It feels it feels more like a distraction than anything else. And then of course I have a huge problem with America bringing up Russia anyway. I got years of their Russia nonsense.
Russiagate BS.
I can't shake it.
Yeah,
it fucking irritates me. So,
and they had a cyber attack that they were trying to not really attribute to Russia, but kind of implying that it was Russia against Ukraine on their websites. I think it was the government websites in Ukraine. But, it was all over the internet. All these shit libs were going crazy about, oh, look what Russia did, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't be surprised because they do have the technology, so I'm not talking out of my ass. Would not be surprised if that was a false flag operation from the U.S. government. Say the CIA, who has hacking tools that can make it look like something's from Russia. Just putting it out there. And we don't have the attribution yet. They're putting that together. The narrative is being put together at the moment and will unfold in the coming days, I'm sure. But,
yeah,
just to get on top of that, I'm going to guess it's probably not Russia.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it next episode. I've been watching all this stuff with this going on with the Taiwan and China and all of these different things, which are all, moving. So, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. Look out for next week on my other channel. I will have 2 interviews coming, 2 special interviews. So keep that in your head. For those who are not followed to my What We've Been Thinking channel, please go over and check that one out also. Elle, did you have anything to plug for your show, your podcast, real quick before we get out of here?
It's probably it's at the end of the month, so it'll probably be like Sunday the 30th. So there's not really much to plug except for the DTRA story. It's going to be on my podcast and a little bit of a deep dive and maybe some Peter Daszak stuff. If you guys want to know more, just like a recap of all this BS that's happened with the narrative that's crumbling at the moment, even though people don't want to acknowledge it, the normies, but that information is coming soon and focusing on more than just Fauci because he's just a freaking puppet just like everyone else. So we need to focus on other players in the mix, including Tom Inglesby. So I'll say this real quick. He is the new head of the federal testing program. I didn't tell you guys this yet, so I just wanted to give you that information. It was in this last speech from Biden, which I referenced in the chat, which was it was just a mess because he was slurring all over the place. But anyway, they made that guy, and you'll know that guy is from Event 201, and he's from the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, which put on Event 201 alongside Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and World Economic Forum, because it always goes back to them. So look out for that. So I'm going to get into that. And this is how I know I'm going to get into that, because I'll watch this episode and I remember. But thank you so much for listening to the podcast and being so supportive and watching The Matrix play. I really enjoyed that. And I think everybody else did too. And I loved their acting skills. And it made it very difficult for me to read as the narrator because I kept laughing so much. But thank you again. Love you all.
Alrighty. And I'm pretty sure if the fellas have any interviews coming up, they'll make sure to let me know, and I could try to put that out there and plug it. So that, and I'll probably go live on my other channel tomorrow. So look out for that. For those who are not following, make sure you follow it. For those who have not hit the like and subscribe on this channel, please hit like, subscribe, please tap the bell. Please follow all of us on Twitter also. That way you can keep up with, when we're tweeting anything out. So this has been The Political Matrix. I, of course, am your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage, there with my man Cy Lawson to my left or right, depending on the way you guys look at the screen. L below, and the Blue Maverick Emmanuel himself, signing off. Thank you all for such a lovely show. Thank you for Franco for dropping by and being with us. So everybody out there, it's a dangerous and crazy world. Have fun this weekend. Try not to do nothing too crazy, and enjoy your holiday off if you have it off. I'll talk to you all later. You all have a great, wonderful night. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.